Yes.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, how's it going?
Did we get that on air? Kodrog just being really sassy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over,
It's
but that needs to be
possible.
addressed.
It's quite possible that it happened. But welcome back to the second half of the Shattered Isles session for today. I'm very excited. I'm Cassie. This is my co-GM Max, and we have Jon playing Kodrog, and Paige playing Thomas. And
Hi. I just hit my desk with my hand.
Don't do that. It's terrible. And so,
Good start.
Thanks for sticking around for the break, and we appreciate you guys sticking around with us. If you like what we're doing, there's all sorts of ways you can support the Shadowcasters network. So, yeah, I'm really bad about that part. I have to have some sort of
Script.
Do
you want me to take over?
Yeah, go for it. Do it.
So
You're
many
great.
times.
You're so great.
Hi, welcome to our little show. So there are many ways to support our Shadowcasters network. I know that right now, because I'm in it, Anarchy is happening Monday at 8 p.m. There's other shows that go on. I know that Cassie does World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
There's Once Upon a Tabletop where people play board games, but they all roleplay their characters, which is really fun. I've done that with Life before. There's other things too. I don't have the calendar, but there is a calendar on Shadowcasters Network if you look.
Yeah, Shadowcasters.network, I believe, is the actual site. So yeah, check it out. See what you can do. If you haven't already...
Starfinder.
Yeah, and Starfinder. So Starfinder, I'm not sure if they're doing it tomorrow, but they are going to be picking it back up in February. So that's what I know so far, anyway. If you haven't already, please follow the channel. And if you really, really, really like what we're doing, you can subscribe to it, too. Or there's, ways you can give bits and donations and all of the fun things to help support our show and support what the Shadowcasters Network is doing. So, thanks very much. And, or just stick around and hang out in the chat, because, honestly, that's my favorite part. You guys hanging out with us in the chat. That's the best.
Chat's always the best.
When
Chat's
you guys hang
at.
out in chat, it gives us an opportunity to hang out, talk with you guys. We reach out to you, ask you for suggestions on names of stores and NPCs.
Thanks, Palmer. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Palmer. Really. And that's how you guys can help us out. And the funds go to help buying stuff like this. You see that? That's a really cool microphone we had to use the money to buy. It's really awesome.
So thanks for your support, guys.
Thank you for support.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Back to the show. All right. So, Kodrog, you have successfully ordered a round of dwarven ales. Did you get any food too, or are you just gonna let everybody?
Yeah,
you're just gonna throw the hammer down.
No. Well, let's be real. A true dwarven ale is the meal. Everything else is sides, Okay.
Did you get any sides of cheese or bread?
I got a cheese and bread plate if there's one available.
Of course. The bartender, loving dwarves, open arms, hearty handshakes, asked if your iron home's going to be coming through the area anytime soon. Glad to meet you. Layers a plate with bread and cheese, and make sure to give you guys an extra flagon of dwarven ale. I mean, he loves you guys.
Excellent. Yeah, I hope my iron home does pass by through soon. I can't say.
Yeah. It's I love you people. What do you mean, you people?
You short people with beards and all the really cool stuff.
Oh yeah, what's not to love? Excellent. Yeah. So they'll deliver them to the table, right?
Yes, of course.
If I just point over to where we are, and thank him kindly and putting a nice tip.
Yeah, man.
Of course.
Totally.
Ooh, a tip. He'll say it's not necessary from a dwarven master like yourself, but thank you so very much.
Yeah, it's not necessary, but required for the level of service. And
cheers to you. All right, so you guys go back to the table. Food and drink gets delivered.
What do you do?
Here's to fallen friends and found friends. And I lovingly put my arms around all my friends.
Slosh
who
a
are
little bit of the dwarven ale onto Connor's shoulder.
Yep. And bottoms up, and I just chug it.
All right.
Excellent.
Thomas takes a sip and then he sets his drink down and he watches Kodrog chug this thing and he just goes, "Oh."
Right.
So what's wrong? Did I get any in my beard?
I am more concerned of the business that we have to take care of and the time limit we have, and also the mix of your drink before and your medical substance that you took all at once.
Thomas, my friend, I believe you underestimate the metabolic power of the dwarves.
He used a big word. Laughs Connor.
To be fair, Kodrog, I have seen you almost drink an entire keg and still walk in a straight line. So, by all means, drink to your heart's content, my friend.
Thomas, I sense you are possibly annoyed with me. Are you perhaps concerned that we're wasting some of the quartermaster's time?
Oh, yes, and also, the money that we need to buy the mine.
Oh, no, I would not use the captain's funds to purchase these beverages. And
besides, you have the coin purse.
Yeah, you have the coin purse.
Yeah.
What do you take me for? Some slippery pickpocket?
No, but I only assume.
Thomas, I assume you have had your fill of alcohol, and I must commandeer your beverage.
And you just take it out of his hand, and Thomas is just like,
"Yep."
I didn't care for it that much anyway. And sits back and watches Kodrog chug this, and he's like, okay.
All right, so let's do a quick calculation. Each rum shot was a 3. You had 2 of them. That puts us at 6. The Dwarven Ale itself is another 3. That puts us at 9. What's your Constitution score?
So my Constitution
I'm
score
sorry,
is...
your fort save. Your fort save.
Oh, so my fort save versus intoxication is plus 12.
So at this point, 2 shots of rum, 1 entire Dwarven Ale, you've still got 3 more you can do. So a whole nother Dwarven Ale will put you at 12. It's the Dwarven Ale after that you have to roll against.
Well, so it was... Oh wait, Bastianus had one. He's drinking his, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like a warrior should.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, Kodrog is comfortable with Thomas being totally sober and Bastianus taking our 2 new drunk crewmates back to the ship. Yeah. And I'm fine because this is what I do.
Okay.
I drink a lot because I can, and
All right.
I have to feel it.
So
To feel anything.
So food comes, they eat, you guys drink. They will ask you what happened after you left and went into the mine.
Especially Connor, who tried to copy you with downing your drink all in one go. He made it about a third of the way before he started coughing.
Let's see, he's at least a first level commoner. I don't think he has a fort save, so he has a 1 in his fortitude save.
Yeah.
So he has to make his roll. Can you do that for him?
17 on the dice.
17. All right, it hits him hard. His face flushes pretty quickly, but he's holding his alcohol.
Yep. So, what did you guys do in the mine?
Well, to spoil the ending, I have to say your former colleagues met their end.
When you say that, both Connor and Curly spit on the floor, and and Connor's like, "Good riddance."
Curly's nodding. He's not talking. He's stuffing food in his face at this point in time. Like a big chunk of cheese.
But Thomas here outwitted a dragon.
Oh god.
Oh,
Yes.
Time out. Time out. I like Radio's idea.
I also like Radio's idea.
I feel like the situation will only improve if Larry to sneak in ashore.
Awesome.
No!
It's okay. It's okay. I still have a +2 to perception.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna
Alright.
see Larry.
Let's get that Larry stealth roll going. Okay, hang on. I gotta reach way past everything. I'm gonna reach it's gonna get really sickening. I apologize ahead of time.
Ready for
everybody.
Oh.
Alright,
There we go.
let's return the camera slowly. Alright, Larry has a dexterity bonus of 2, and he has at least 3 ranks into it, plus the bonus, so that's 8. 28. Sir.
Wow. Okay. Allow me to.
One of the things I do like about the Pathfinder playtest is like that would be a crit, so there wouldn't be a roll to try to find him afterwards. So.
So my dice were not quite so good. I got a 3 on the die, which gives me a 12, plus my bonus for being on medicinal tea would be a 14.
Let me roll. I have 24.
Awesome.
So.
So Kodrog, continue with your story.
Yes.
Yeah. So Thomas here. What kind of dragon was that? It was
You had said your
large,
friend didn't
frightening.
make it, and then
Oh, yeah, yeah,
spit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they spit, and then I
You're-
told them that Thomas outwitted a dragon in the
But-
caves.
Thomas would know what kind of dragon that was, wouldn't he? Or would you want me to roll?
It was just like a void drake, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a void drake.
Yeah.
If it's
Okay.
a drake, it lives in the void. You just call him a void drake.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
no genus and species going on here.
Yeah. I mean, there could be, but they won't understand, so keeping it simple would be
Yeah,
the
Thomas.
best bet.
Keeping it simple with a wizard.
I
You
know.
kidding me? Thomas starts explaining this void dragon to a T and how dangerous they can be, and
And you
where they
go
live,
down
their
to like
habitat, whatever.
the genus
Yeah.
of like the fire,
Yeah,
like the fire genus of
Yeah.
it, you know.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it was Voididius Conus.
Voididius virus. Yeah, something stupid.
Or as you call them, void drakes, which I think is absurd. You should call them by their full name. Like, but at the end of it, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I just casted poison frogs, and it ate one of them, and then it hurt me."
You made poison frogs from nothing?
Hundreds of them, thousands of poison frogs
It was-
filled the room.
So
It wasn't that hard.
that scares them even more when you say that. So they're like, ooh. And Kodrog, as he's saying, thousands of frogs, you start to, you're drawing a little bit of an audience now, guys.
A couple of gentlemen
Okay.
by the nearby table have stopped and they've turned to where they're facing. And one of them will lean out. A dragon on this hold, you say? A drake? A beast that spews fire?
Yep.
Perhaps?
I have a question for the GMs.
Yes.
Character.
Yes, go ahead.
From Thomas's knowledges of magic, void. He actually has knowledge void.
Mm-hmm.
And monsters. So, with the Drake one eating one of the poisonous frogs, like that's not gonna kill the Drake right away, right?
No, it might make him a little sick to its stomach, but
He might have
I
to
don't
come
think it's
back
gonna
and-
kill it.
You might come back and pick a few up with some paprika and turmeric, and then eat it that way, and that way it's not so bad.
Yeah. Plus
Like-
immunity, man.
Like spicy frogs.
yeah, pretty much.
It's like
Okay.
it's like living frog curry or something. Like
So this
Vin-
Drake is presumably
frog.
still alive. Like he heard, I remember the Drake heard the commotion, was like, "Fuck that," and then went back into his little hidey hole.
Assuming, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
you can assume at this point.
Thomas will tell them basically, like, yes, but with that amount of poison that it consumed, it would be dead by now.
Oh.
Good. Relief. And then Connor chimes in, so what happened next?
The guy reaches out and touches Connor. Wait a minute. Don't drakes have hoards of treasure?
Not this one.
Oh.
Drakes don't have treasure.
All of them, they, capture treasure and...
Drakes capture princesses.
Oh.
No, actually, they don't. Most dragons are misunderstood, and they just kind of want to live their lives. The ones who actually hoard treasure are the really powerful ones that you don't actually want to communicate with, or even attack.
But they do! Some of them do.
Some of them do, but not this one.
When the guy sitting at the table hits his friend and says, shut up, let them tell their story. I want to hear what happens next. Gosh.
I just love Thomas being like, no, dragons are misunderstood. How dare you?
Dragons are just animals, okay? That's all they're just animals.
Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Pretty much, just leave them alone and they'll go about their business.
Yeah.
At least that's my experience from any Pathfinder game I've ever played.
Well, so after we escaped the Drake through Thomas's genius use of power, we come to an opening in the cave, and we see the view of the ship of the scoundrels that had absconded with the princess. And at that very moment,
you'd probably say absconded with our prize.
Absconded with our prize. Thank you. Absconded with our prize.
Unless you're completely drunk.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
Absolutely
Not yet. It's fine.
I know my limit. I'm not going to drink anymore either, so I'm on business. And at that very moment, the falls come into view and opens a broadside onto them unexpectedly.
That's what all that noise was.
Yes.
And tries to drink more of his thing.
That's what all that noise was. The clamor and the booming of the guns.
It sounded
tore.
like thunder.
Huge chunks of the ship flew into the void. And of course, the scoundrels couldn't use their vessel now to escape. So they went off into a side tunnel to their escape boat.
Escape boat?
What?
Yes, they had a spare boat stowed in a sideway.
I knew it! They were going to abandon us and take the escape boat!
Curly's response, stuffing cheese into his face. And bread.
But, to their misfortune, and our great fortune, we were able to stop them.
The gentleman at the other table says, what do you mean, stop them?
Well,
Do tell.
our next stop is over to the Undertaker.
You had a fight with them.
What
Oh, yes.
happened?
What happened?
We won?
He smiles and he reaches into his pocket. Friend, I like a good story. And he tosses 2 copper coins over into the table. I'll double that if you tell me more.
So, my friend Thomas and our other companion who was with us were able to...
Do you want me to do this part?
I mean, you can chime in whenever you want, Thomas.
Okay, good, go for it.
We're able to sneak around and attack them from 3 sides.
So you've got all of their attention. They're waiting for details.
He'll point, the man will point to Bastianus. What did you do? And Bastianus will be like, I wasn't there.
No, our brave friend wasn't with us. Had it been, the fight would have been even less fair.
Keshans are tough.
I was gonna say, you actually get like a smirk, smile, and chuckle out of Thomas. Like he's seen Bastianus in combat, and he just kind of does this, and he goes, "You have no idea."
Saw him rip a man's arm off. So once we were in our positions, Thomas, my brave friend, took them unawares and drew their attention.
How?
How did you do that, Thomas?
Well, this cave, the way it was designed, or rather formed, it was easy enough for us to be on opposite sides that the cave opened up into this empty room.
Yeah.
And Kodrog was over on one, and I was on the other side with our other companion. And I went to go look out to see how many there were.
How many were there?
3 of them, including the captain of that group. Well, it was, I literally just looked out to see if I could get a good angle on them, since I need to have line of sight with any of my spells, and, I got a crossbow bolt shot through my shoulder.
And Kodrog reaches up and slaps you on your shoulder. Straight through!
Straight through.
The man at the other end of the other table. Now, more people are leaning against walls and watching and listening as you guys talk. The bartender has told people to shut up, and you realize that the minstrels have stopped plucking away at their strings.
One of them has taken a notebook out and is starting to write stuff. You think maybe they're going to be writing a song about you.
Oh, good.
The bartender says, "Keep going."
So, as soon as I heard the crossbow twang, I knew that my friends had given me the signal.
Okay.
So
Thomas just goes, yeah.
and I leapt out from the stone that I was hiding behind, and threw a dagger at the crossbow in the hands of one of the other scoundrels. Mercenaries.
And this was, you were quite away. I'm amazed you actually hit that.
The man
Like,
sitting
that
at the
was-
other table goes, "Did he die?"
Well, because it was a well-aimed shot, I hit the crossbow instead of my target.
There you
But
go.
because-
Yeah, everybody's like nodding, like that's how you do it.
But because I had misjudged my distance, it hit with the handle instead of the blade.
Oh,
Ah.
So as he spun to fire his crossbow at me, I threw my second dagger and caught him in the heart.
yeah! And then from behind you, you hear this. Oh yeah, that's great. Wish I could have been there. I would have got my murder on. Larry
Oh my
says, real loud.
But-
Oh,
behind
Larry!
you. Oh, I knew I was missing out.
Thomas!
Then, to my dismay, his crossbow bolt caught me through the chest, and I show the hole in my tunic and the fresh wound.
Larry, everybody's like gaping at it because it's a large blood. Not this side, this side. It's a large bloody spot underneath that scabby goo that the doctor laid on. Like Larry's going to slink around and get really personal with your chest, while everybody else is looking at a distance and like, wow.
Wow, he really got you.
Yeah, they all look very impressed. The guy reaches into his pocket, his coin purse, and he drops 4 more copper onto the table and goes, "I don't know how much you get paid, but that's a brilliant story."
So you know that I'll say, and then I was forced to seek cover again, and then I'll tap Thomas so that he can take the story over.
Thomas, Bassianus is looking at you, looking at Larry, looking at you like, what is he doing
Yeah,
here?
yeah. I imagine it's like Kodrog, like, you know, it's like, oh yes, and my friend Thomas did this. Thomas just goes, "You shouldn't be out here, Larry." Like,
Larry looks at you and goes, "Keep going. Everybody wants to hear the rest of this."
all right. So our main objective was to retrieve one of our companions, and the captain had them hostage.
No.
So
I mean,
Curly will give a nod.
so
We
Carter.
figured as much.
I
Burgess was a bastard.
didn't really want to see any more bloodshed. I'm definitely the type of person that would rather talk his way out of something than cast anything. I at first casted a few Ray of Frost spells, which it's a quite easy spell actually. You
From the bar you hear, "Could you cast it here now?"
well, I could.
He puts a mug on the bar. "Like on that?"
Yeah.
Can we see her do it?
Sure.
And as Thomas's rays of frost were demolishing the enemies, I had the perfect moment, the perfect timing to throw 2 daggers at the enemy captain. So as I darted out from my hiding spot, I threw them, and jumping to the side to get cover, I hoped they had hit their mark. And they did.
You totally hit him.
Straight to the chest.
Larry, standing right next to you, lets out a big woo! All right! He fist bumps you. He's just like, yeah! You need another drink, Kodrog. He will reach out and grab Bassianus's beer ale and give a drink out of it. Like, yeah! And then puts it down in front of you.
Wait, Bassianus wasn't drinking it?
No, he was. He was sipping on it. He was. But Larry still takes it, takes a swig from it, then hands it to you.
It's Larry.
Yeah, and I raised it and Bassianus.
Larry will say, damn, by the gods, you are awesome. I've seen this man fight. I watched him kill devil dogs when we got attacked a couple of weeks back. He is powerhouse. Roar. The gods protect this man.
He's really great at murdering.
He's really great at murdering people.
No.
Glad you have that title.
I must insist. The killings were legal.
Of course. He winks a whole bunch. Everybody in the bar is kind of like chuckling along with it and whatnot. There is a guy who's in the bar who doesn't chuckle, and he turns and he walks out. Big, hefty-looking dude, wide as a dwarf, tall as a human, black hair that comes down well past his shoulders, really nice and wavy.
And you think you might see the nice glint of a badge.
Oh no, it would be a tabard.
A tabard.
Under
right.
his cloak.
Oh no! Damn it, Larry!
Larry's now walking over and he's singing like a little ditty. Oh, my mate Kodrog, he'll kill you in your sleep. He'll kill you during the day. And he's like making this shit up as he goes across the room.
And Thomas, everybody is getting into it. They're like cheering and slamming mugs down.
Thomas does this thing where he goes, and that's time, we've got to go.
Yeah, we should go to the magistrate now.
After especially seeing that guy who just kind of walked out, Thomas does this whole thing while they're chanting, he just kind of watches them leave. And that's when he just kind of, stops Bassianus from drinking. And he taps Kodrog and he goes, and that's time. We need to go.
Bassianus says, shall I go with you or shall I take these two back to the boat?
I think you should escort them.
Yeah, as much as I would like you by my side, I think you need to escort them back to the ship.
He'll grapple you by the elbow and it's just like, I can rush back as quickly as possible. I'll be here waiting for you.
Yeah, so Kodrog is gonna take half the coins that were left in the mug, and
8 copper.
Nice.
And then give the other half to put it on the bar, just in case a ruckus breaks out and they need to repair anything.
Well, a definite ruckus is beginning as people are singing the songs.
Yeah, Larry apparently
is leading the troop.
Is a fantastic little songwriter. You had no idea. He could have been a bard if he actually applied himself.
So, stealth checks from you two. Bassianus is going to take the other two crewd members and dash out quickly. So, let's see how well you do. I'm going to make a perception check for the bar itself. It's going to be a general one. That's for Bassianus' stealth. I'm going to assume that it's good. All right, now this is the bar's perception. Pay attention to what's going on.
17.
All right, the bar has a 10.
Okay, I got 22.
At least I didn't have to cast my spell. I feel like that would have been worse for the.
Yeah, I was trying to save you from that, man.
Yeah, thank you, Kodrog.
I was like, oh, that's the worst idea, casting magic in public.
Yeah.
We can tell people we did whatever we want to tell them, but we can't do it in front of them.
All right. So you guys, with the distraction, the music, the banging, they'll, the people who do notice you, like at the other table, will take their drinks, give you a raise, and turn back to the music. So you're not completely getting out stealthily, but you're getting out stealthily because of the music, and you're avoiding Larry's attention. You're able to sneak out one of the side doors that don't point toward the street, where the man who might be law enforcement has slid out. I'm going to give you guys that much. So he's gone one door, you guys are going another door. There are multiple doors. So, and they attached to pretty much the same network of streets. You guys get out, you look around. From where you're at, you think you can kind of see him heading down one of the little roads. He's popped off the ground and he's drifting. He's not looking your direction, but he is drifting. His black curly hair flowing as he flies through the air.
What would the common term be for law enforcement officers in this period?
Could be a watch.
Okay.
Most likely it's the watch.
Okay.
Yeah, he could be a watchman. He could be
Town guard.
Yeah. Guard.
Truly, the watch's job is guarding, but the watch also is like patrolling the streets to make sure everything's fine. Town guard are generally people who carry around weapons for the purpose of breaking up disputes, holding the peace, and protecting the city.
Mm-hmm. Any other terms would probably be like more of a military kind of thing, like a sergeant at arms or something like that.
Are there?
Go ahead.
Are there like insult terms? Like pigs or fuzz or
I'm sure
like
there
the
are.
popo.
Yes, of course. There's every like official term. There's at least like 3, slang terms and slurs. So yeah.
As far as that goes, I have a wonderful website that has lots of those terms on it. I will look it up and I will send you that link that has a lot of medieval terms and insults. There are some good ones.
Please.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Just medieval things in general make my heart squeeze. So
well, then you and I should definitely hang out and talk about. I found a medieval shopping list.
Oh my god, yes.
All right.
So is he like in shouting distance? Or is he like really far? Like I would have to call out super loudly.
Like you use your loud voice, you could probably
use your outside voice.
Yeah, use my outside voice and cut my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'll say,
go ahead.
Watchman, and I'll call that out.
Imagine
if he
Thomas
looks
is trying to stealthily sneak away. He does this, and he goes, "What are you doing?" He turns around.
Does he react? Does he do anything?
Yeah, you see at this point in time, he drifts a moment, and he contorts his body so he's looking behind him as he's drifting, and then he makes an effort to reach out and put his hand onto a part of a building to slow himself down. So you definitely got his attention.
Oh, good. So I'm gonna just look over at Thomas and say we should follow him, and then I'm gonna bounce up, like towards him, so that if he's waiting, I can communicate with him without shouting.
Right.
And if he's not waiting, at least he'll know I'm following him.
Thomas will trust Kodrog enough to follow. Yeah. I want to see where this goes.
Well, there's no choice now.
The large man.
Yeah, exactly.
The large man does make a detour, turn back around, and leap back in your direction. With several bounds, you guys land in a square in the middle of some houses. The roof is slightly encasing, so you guys have plenty of space that you have a small opening you jump out of if you really needed to get out of here. Otherwise, you'd be some bounding through some streets. He comes to land. He is a very tall... He's either a tall dwarf or a wide human, but he's very big. He's got his hair bound back, and his beard, his thick black beard, is braided. So he has a lot of dwarven appearances, but the size of a human, and his nose is very human, and his face is very human. So it's kind of confusing looking. But he lands, and he is wearing what looks to be a chainmail hauberk, a tabard over it. Maybe it's the symbolism of the county, the hold itself. And he has a hammer on his side and a hatchet on the belt at the same time on the same side, as well as a thing of keys. He lands, looks to you, reaches out his hands, Greetings, travelers.
Oh yeah, is like hand to shake or
Yes.
just like oh good. Actually, yeah, I'll clasp his hand in greeting and
Okay.
would you be the one to see if we had some killings to report?
Oh, hang on. Yes. Sorry. His voice would have been, greetings, greetings, travelers. Yes, I would be the one that you would want to speak with, as I am the magistrate's go-to man on the watch, and I take care of all of his necessaries and domestics, as you crewmen of ships call it. I heard your friend, or I heard the other patron in the bar. Is it true? You murdered people?
Murdered, no. However, there were some unfortunate deaths.
Can you justify these killings?
Other
Why,
than
yes.
self-defense. Thomas just
No.
says that under his breath.
Self-defense, indeed, but also we were rescuing out of character. Kodrog would feel comfortable, I think, telling the magistrate or like law enforcement that we were rescuing the princess.
You know.
Or would I know that that's just like
Nobody.
a node
To nobody. Yeah.
to nobody?
You would say
Okay.
a crew member.
Okay, good.
You could
Excellent.
even.
You could
I was
say,
gonna
you could lie and say the captain's sister.
You could. I was
Well.
about to say you could say family members or siblings of some sort.
Yeah, so they had
Technically, she is a crew member now. but
they had kidnapped a crewmate, and were trying to hold them ransom, and we had to rescue them. But because I believe the other two, Curly and Connor, have already given testimony about Daryl's death.
Aye, they have. It was a terrible fight.
Get him over.
What's that?
And
I couldn't hear you over the headphones.
and unfortunate, we had offered him the chance to join our crew instead, but he declined. And instead shot one of his own crewmates in the head.
with the crossbow bolt.
Curly.
Yes.
Indeed.
Well, what you speak, I have good witnesses for some. I'm sure you could produce some witnesses for others. Would you testify to this man's statements? He looks you up and down and says, Sir?
Thomas.
Thomas, reporting
Oh.
to Thomas. Yeah, looking to
I'm
Thomas.
sorry. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you're like blitzed out in a moment. He's like, Sir?
I imagine Thomas is looking at this man. Either one, he's thinking, God damn it, Larry. And two, he's like, his beard is magnificent.
Yeah. It's got a perfect shine to it.
Yeah.
It's well
I
oiled.
love braided beard.
Yeah, well oiled.
Yeah, and Thomas will shake his head and he'll apologize for zoning out, and he'll go, yes, of course. I was right behind Kodrog when it happened.
Was it justified?
I believe so.
He'll raise
Especially
He raises an eyebrow.
especially from a group that would kidnap another person.
That Captain Burgess did not seem like a pleasant fellow. No matter what, you're going to need to come and speak to the magistrate. You're going to need to fill out some necessary paperwork.
I understand.
Murder in the town proper, or killing, even justified, is still a crime. Or, sorry, no, it still is something...
It's still an offense.
Yeah, that's the word I want to use. It's still an offense.
We are happy to abide
All
by your local laws, sir.
Follow me. He'll turn and he'll leap. So I don't have a name for this half-dwarf, so if the audience would like to reach out and give us one, I'd really appreciate it. He is a pure half-dwarf, half-human heritage from long time ago. Maybe, like, older than... No, it doesn't matter. So he's a half-dwarf, half-human, and, we need a cool-sounding first name that he's going to give out.
So yeah.
So, he directs you guys in flight back toward the opening of the mine. As you guys leap out, he says we're heading that direction. So you kind of hop up onto a platform and then shoot across the opening of the hold.
Thomas will, as they're headed that way, he'll mention, he'll be like, is your hold or building or whatever you want to call it in the mine or near it?
Aye. The magistrate, Bonesaw, land deed title. The magistrate handles land deeds. He's the Bonesaw. He's also handles other jobs that I don't take care of.
Oh, good. We've already met.
He raises an eyebrow, looking at you as you're drifting across. Have you?
We spoke about the possibilities of acquiring some mines.
He just keeps raising his eyebrows, drops them down, turns back to the direction you're flying.
It is very unnerving to be on the other side of, like, an Inquisitor character. After I've played an Inquisitor, I know, like, every single time they just go, do you now? Like, I know that's like, yes, sir. Like,
Yeah.
So, I'm personally more favorable to the name Arshend. I like that way it sounds. I don't know, that sounds very kind of cool.
Kind of dwarvish.
Kind of
but
dwarvish,
not.
Arshend. What do you guys think? There's Barnacus and
Barnacus.
Arshend.
I like Arshend.
They can both work. I'm
Yeah.
partial to Barnacus, but I'm outnumbered, so.
I mean, I don't know. I like.
Okay, we're gonna go with Arshend then.
Okay.
It sounds a little more fitting because you were like, oh, it's dwarf. He's a half dwarf, so it would make sense that you would have something more dwarven and something human. Barnacus just sounds funny. It's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry if I'm like really rude, but it sounds slightly Barnacus. You know what I mean?
Good old Barnacus.
Yeah.
Keeping the law
And
in the thing.
He doesn't seem like a Barnacus to me.
So as you're drifting over the opening, he turns, looks at you, and in his deep voice goes, Arshend.
I'm Thomas Barron, and he'll hold out his hand because he hasn't gotten a chance to shake his hand.
Baron,
Yes.
you're from... By your accent, I would say that you're from Marseille.
I am. Thomas suddenly gets really worried because
He raises an eyebrow, and as you're drifting, he will say, Baron is a magical family name.
yes,
He'll nod, his black curly hair waving behind him. He'll pull out his arms and slow down so that you guys are now moving alongside. See, he's like kind of keeping up with you guys. What is a magic user doing this far away from Marseille? I mean, he's not even cutting. He's like going straight to it. This guy's like, whoa, too much information, man.
Well, no offense, Arshand, but if you were talking about what happened and what we've done in the mines or whatever, it's none of your business. If you must know, I left my family due to disagreements with my father.
He'll give a nod. No. I've heard rumors that there's magic in some of the mines. Curses. You wouldn't be the first Marseillan mage wandering my hold, looking to cause problems. So I was just making sure that you're not one of them. That you're not here to rile up issues.
One of the first. Who else was there?
His name was Iddleton, and it was about 5 years ago. Found some sort of magic item. Started causing problems. Setting fire to things. We had to ship him back in a box. And he smiles. It doesn't feel any better that he's smiling.
Thomas doesn't seem worried. He's more disappointed than anything. I understand a lot of wizards and mages don't understand that they have this power. And it can be dangerous. Some of them use them foolishly.
But not Thomas here. Thomas is a fixer of problems, not a causer of problems, Arshen. You don't have to worry about him.
Kodrog, what home do you hail from?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm glad Max was like, oh, Marseille, and I'm like, yes, that is the name, because I forgot it as well.
From the Iron Home called Ironwood House.
You're a prodigy of Ironwood House. And what's your guild? What's your trade?
Family is woodsmiths by trade.
Very nice.
But being one of the lower of the numerous children, I didn't have to follow the family trade.
Third in line?
Third in line.
Ah, being the name Kodrog.
Military service for me.
He gives a nod. Well, at least you got to serve the family some way. You guys
What about you, Arshen?
Okay. Oh,
After
good.
you
Please come in.
interrogated us, I think it's only fair that we ask you.
Yeah, I was getting nervous under the microscope.
My mother was from Stonehold, and my father was an Etyrian pirate who raped her. She was left in the care of some priests when I was born. She fled back, leaving nothing more than a name and an ancestry of where she came from. I've never seen her, and I've wandered quite a bit till I found this peaceful place. I found my father about 5 years ago and put an end to him. And now, I find my days watching the peaceful streets, making sure no one sets fire to any buildings.
Breaking up bar fights.
And breaking up bar fights. Hardest part about this job.
Well, I'm sorry of your past, but it seems that you've found peace in the matter.
Don't take my disposition as rude. I do this to everyone.
I assumed.
Welcome, by the way, to Ishan. We have a nice, peaceful mining community here.
Emphasis on the peaceful.
Thomas kind of does that thing where he goes, yeah, sorry that our crew kind of caused a ruckus.
What? We solved a ruckus.
Yes, but we still ended up literally littering. That was a hard sentence. Littering the void around it with debris.
Well, that's as may be. I think that our greatest crime is riling up the drunkards at the bar.
That's true.
At this point, he begins readjusting his body so his feet start pointing more toward the ground as you're coming to a light outside the magistrate Bonesaw's land deed holder's temple. The dwarfy-looking dude. Anyways, you're coming out back to that place. You remember getting thrown out by the guy with the fancy gun cane?
Yeah.
No, it was a sword cane.
It's sword cane, yeah.
Gun cane, that would be epic too.
So he lands.
That does exist.
Arshane lands, walks up, and opens the door, steps in, and lets you guys follow.
Ah, Arshen, it's so great to see you.
Ah, so they were right when they said they have met you before.
Yes.
Greetings, magistrate.
Greetings.
Brother. Master.
Thomas will just nod and go, hello again.
So, I assume that it's you lot that has been causing so much trouble on our hold.
You would be correct, sir. Their ship was the one for all the noise earlier. Their crew was also responsible for the death of that one man that I'm still dealing with. I'm going to make sure that they take the body back with them. Apparently, there was some dispute and a kidnapping and a little bit of killing. I feel...
Killing, you say?
Yes, sir.
More than one?
Yes, sir. But as I was saying, I feel that these people are on spot.
Is that your official assessment, Arshand?
Aye. But they don't have any legal representation with me, so you can take that how you need to. I, on the other hand, am going to leave these two with you. I've got to get back across the hold.
Excellent.
Flash me if you need me.
I shall, Arshand. And thank you for bringing these two miscreants to my attention.
On his way out, he will give both of you a pat on the shoulder and take off.
Oh, and I will say, thank you, brother.
He'll give a nod.
Well, welcome back, friends, welcome back. I see that you've been causing quite a stir on my hold.
I would not quite describe it as causing, but we did play a part. Mostly in the resolution.
Indeed, I do have an official statement from... And he goes over to his desk and takes off the paperweight and flips through a couple pages, takes them out, and puts them back. Puts the paperweight back on there. From a Curly and a Connor. Stating that this one, Daryl Smith, decided to put an arrow into Curly, and you took care of him. Dispatched with your daggers.
Yes, but in defense of our crewmates.
Ah, yes,
Connor and Curly.
defense. That was quite clear, thank you. And now I find that you have an old gaggle of bodies now How many more have you killed this day?
Well, I wouldn't say gaggle of bodies. Gaggle of bodies is more like 10 to 20. We only have 3.
Yep, just 3 others.
4 bodies, you say?
Wait, no, actually there would be 4 others, because there was the one that died when you got around the corner, and then there were 2 that we killed the room, and then the captain.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Have you come to the correct number of bodies, or shall we continue to add to that number?
Officially,
well, you could add
I think that we should say...
swatted, like...
I think that for the temporary official record, it should be 3 to 4 additional bodies.
3 to 4 additional bodies. Excellent. You're running up quite a tab.
Well, they all did have, they were wearing their payment for the funeral costs.
Who did their murdering?
Thomas does that, and he looks at Kodrog.
Well, no one did the murdering. It was more defense.
Yes.
And rescue of our kidnapped comrade.
Quite.
May I,
and you see him, like, just writing notes down as you're talking.
I will not lie that we have killed. Alright? But the more important thing is that those men were not like us. Our crew is very much not piratistic or any of that nature. That captain was devious and would have done a lot more if he could.
I understand. However, and he puts his pin down very sharply, a killing is a killing, and subject to the applicable fines.
even though the bodies themselves have enough to cover their own burial here on the island.
Oh, that is for the burial, not for the killing.
Even though we have probably saved you from a great deal of massacres and robbings that this person would have done if they had the chance.
Oh, quite, yes.
Well, and
That would
what's-
have been an entirely separate legal issue.
Yes, but they would have probably caused murders too, and their findings would have added up as well, on top of the robbery.
Would
and
you like
other...
to pay those fines in advance, then?
Well, no, I don't think
What
that
I'm
we should
saying-
be paying for theoretical crimes that never happened.
You may pay for
What-
the fines, or you may work off the fines.
Well, okay. Well, what are we talking about? What are the? How much are we? What's the tab at?
The fines
Master.
for killing in self-defense
Defendering.
is 3 copper per head, sir.
3.
How much did the captain give us?
You haven't looked.
You haven't looked.
I don't know, but I know that like I didn't get enough in tips for the story to cover this murdering fee. So
I literally do not know what Thomas has on him.
Nope.
So not just the captain's, I don't even know his own payment. So
Money. Who needs money?
I imagine Bastianus holds on to it.
Money? What's that? I mean, what are you gonna get? Like, I want you to go get me a banana. That's like $5 a banana, right? Here you go, money. So, the magistrate is, patiently
Is there
waiting.
no way to con this lady? Because I feel like Thomas made a good.
Oh, it's a man. It's the
it's a
dwarf.
dude.
He just
Oh,
sounds-
I'm sorry.
He just sounds
man.
very articulate and
Okay,
effeminate.
so you.
I'm sorry, sir and or ma'am.
Yeah.
Like to negotiate diplomacy. Sorry,
Yes,
is there a way
Yes,
to?
it would be a diplomacy. Yes, ma'am.
Can I roll that, please?
Thomas,
Yes.
you should, an out of character suggestion.
Yeah.
Ask if you can roll the fine into the payment of the abandoned mine, and segue into pulling
Oh.
out the sack of money.
That would be nice.
And I think Thomas would be smart enough to
put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll bring that up. He'll bring up.
So you,
Yeah, fuck this guy. Thomas will kind of roll his eyes as he's counting up the numbers, and he goes, "Look, I was going to purchase the mine that we were in anyway."
So
Rather
you were serious about that, were you?
I was, in fact, and he pulls out the pouch and he kind of jingles it in his hands, and trying to estimate how much is in there. And he'll open it up and he goes, "I was. Did you think I was joking around about it?"
Well, your friend there, pointing to the dwarf, seems to make jokes out of how much these mines cost. I assume that both of you are jokers. But now I know that at least one of you is serious.
Sir, I come from a noble family. I have to deal with this kind of thing all the time, especially with payment.
Ah, nobility, is it? Excellent. So, you wish to purchase my mine, my dried up mine.
I do. I find it.
It must be worth something to you.
Well, I'm a wizard. There's a drake in there. I'd like to study it.
Yeah, like,
he drops something on his desk. Like,
well, he drops something out of his hand and it kind of floats down to his desk.
A drake, you say?
Indeed.
Let me get the deed.
And he goes over to, like, this other pile that's, like, got a nice big chunk of paperweight on it, and is slowly digs through and pulls out a piece of parchment.
Let's see. The mine proper would be 9 gold pieces.
Thomas will look at his pouch.
Not 9 gold pieces.
Oh, I don't know. You said 9,
It's
so I'm
9
just going
silver
for it.
pieces.
No, it's too late now.
Too late now? Okay, fair enough. 9 gold pieces. 9 gold pieces.
He's seeing dollar signs. There's a Drake. This mage just has
and
nobility.
Wait a
So,
minute.
yeah.
Good call.
So yeah, Kodrog's gonna chime in. And how much is the Drake discount?
It is fair. Not to mention the what were those things called? They were along the walls.
Oh, the poisonous mushrooms?
Yeah.
The shriekers?
That too. Yeah. There was that. There were these mushrooms in there as well. Since this mine is already empty and there is 2, and possibly collapsing the mine itself hazardous, I think you have taken in my title, sir.
Never. I would never do such a thing. You see, I already provided the discount. I would have normally charged you 15 gold pieces, but since
For an empty mine.
for a mine with drakes and shriekers that are of interest to a mage.
Now that you know of it. So you do admit that you were trying to swindle me out of more money, that you know that I am a noble, and there are possible creatures in there that I am worth interested in.
Money
Even though-
is to be made, my friend. And
Even
if
though
there
it's
is
an empty
something
mine.
of interest to you, then I believe you may be able to afford it.
How much damage? How much would it cost to repair all the damage if that Drake decided to, say, like, attack the town?
Will you be
Because it was
controlling
born,
said
it's-
Drake with your powers, mage?
No, I just mean if we don't go in there and control the Drake.
Well, as
Think of
far
what the
as
Drake
I
might do.
know, this Drake has been here for some time and it has not attacked the town.
I have a question out of character.
Yeah, go ahead.
TikTok, man. Like,
What?
It's a time bomb.
There is no. This is like an actual thing that can happen in real life,
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go for
and
it.
it's illegal, and I can't think of what the proper term is.
Kill the magistrate, take over the town, save your copies.
Right?
No, I wanna use legal understanding that Thomas would know through his education and nobility
Yes, definitely.
to diplomacy his way, or rather intimidate his way out of this and get a cheaper mine, and to get the money from the dead mixed in.
Okay.
Because if this man is constantly saying like, oh yeah, sure, they could have, the bandits could have stayed alive and wandered around, even though Thomas is like, even though they would have probably caused more damage. Like I don't know what the word is, especially swindling somebody out of their money. That is an actual term other than swindle.
Okay.
So
let's
Thomas
see.
is going to try. That would either be diplomacy or intimidation, because this guy is committing a crime.
I think that, well, you don't know if he's committing a crime technically, because you don't actually know the law in this particular
I
case.
don't,
However, with that being said, I think that you should be able to use your knowledge of your education and of laws in Marseille, which you would be more fluent in, and which are well known. That using the diplomacy along with the knowledge, I think that would be a way for you to talk your way around the law. I would say, yeah. I don't know if it would be an intimidate. I'll let you decide.
It would not be an intimidate.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to legally intimidate him, you would say, this would be the words you would say. You would say, if you really want to cost that much, I can forego the purchase now, return home with my on my ship, gather the military, and we will come back and seize the land with
Oh, wait,
force.
I have a better idea.
Hang on, I'm finishing.
I don't want to intimidate.
That would be intimidate. I'm going to come back with an army and take your land anyways. So pick one.
Yeah. The other thing, you know that you are basically, the king of Kadaf is your liege lord, and so. Throwing around those kinds of names that, like, you have a direct connection to a king who can have the influence to remove him from his position could be a better form of a diplomacy versus an intimidate.
That would be like a lighter form of intimidate, but a heavier form of diplomacy by saying.
I do want a diplomacy. I think I would go that route. Okay. So
go ahead and roll your diplomacy roll, and we can see how good you are first.
Diplomacy.
Larry would have resolved it already.
Hell yeah, he would have.
Thanks, radio. Larry lover.
25.
Okay, so yeah, that's definitely I would say that's at least.
Yeah, that's going to move him from, because right now he's indifferent, he wants to make money, to a friendly disposition.
Yes.
So you would use the phrases like the following. To your better interest, we will resolve the dragon. If you hinder us by charging so much, we will not be able to quickly afford to resolve the issue in a timely manner, and the dragon could become a problem. The dragon is not our property, but he is a pest. And we are not responsible for the damage that
I
pest
wouldn't
can
even
do.
see, but I mean, I don't know. That seems like enough to throw in the king thing too, as far as I'm concerned. So
yeah, I would imagine Thomas would mention the king right away because I like to have headcanon that his parents have been to many balls with this king and like have met him.
Yeah.
So he would throw the name around, and he'll probably mention, he's like, "Oh, believe me, I know what he would do to this company here."
Excellent.
Type of thing, like.
So, you have succeeded. So go ahead and make your.
Oh, I'm gonna be terrible
statement.
at this.
You can do it. We believe in you.
Yeah. So as this guy, what was the last thing that he said?
Something about. You know, blah blah blah. This is the amount. A mage is interested in this, so obviously there has to be some value
worth,
some worth to them.
Okay. Thomas will kind of lean back, and Kodrog can see this like air of like it's not Thomas. If Kodrog knew his father, this is his father speaking. This is Thomas's dad speaking. And he goes, "A mage? I think you mean wizard. You see, where I come from, there are plenty of wizards around, and even my family, and not to mention the King of Marseille himself, which I have partaked in many balls before, and believe me, there are many companies that he has shot down for this indiscretion. Not to mention with the Drake being a pest of a sort that isn't part of our responsibility. It is belonged to this land, technically. If you want to go so far to say that. Now, I will purchase the mine at a reasonable price. I do not like being swindled out of it. Because there are many worse things that could happen to you and your company than just a simple little drake.
I see. Very well. I will sell the mine exclusive rights to the entire tunnel and ensure that no one will get curious about what is in it. And as an act of good faith, I will roll in the costs of the killings for 3 gold pieces.
That's fine. The only thing I want of this is we want the deed to the mine. We don't want anyone else going in it.
But of course.
So he goes into well, he has the deed already, so he puts it down on the table, and he begins writing, takes out another ledger, and begins writing in the ledger, like, looks like almost copying over the deed itself, and when it was, and the date that things were going, and the amount that it was being paid for, like, very detailed logs of how things are, so you feel pretty confident as he's going through the process that this is how the process is done, and that he is in fact, you know, selling you this mine, and once he's completed everything,
you will need to sign here
on taps the official deed, and then
and here.
And hands you the quill.
Here's sound effects.
so like what is this, like Thomas Baron on behalf of
the King of Kadaf?
the crown king of Kadaf.
I gave Thomas a middle name. I don't think I wrote it down, but it would be his full entire name. On behalf of, yeah.
Nice. So, very well. Would you like a scroll case for your deed, sir?
Yes, please.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Scroll case has got a map in it that's roughly drawn from the previous area, a receipt for how much you purchased it, and then he extends his hand and says,
Pleasure doing business with you, Master Mage.
Wizard.
Master Wizard. My apologies.
And you. And he'll shake his hand. Very tightly.
Excellent.
Yeah, radio's right. In the book it says a
Scroll case costs 1 gold.
piece. No, they don't. Not in the Shattered Isles, because a gold piece is like a platinum in normal. So a platinum piece is ridiculously stupid valuable. Like, everything, the prices in the book, I generally drop them down a lot, because it just makes more sense.
Yeah, scroll case is stupid for being that expensive.
Copper and silver is a big currency that we use a lot of, which now the magistrate is holding out his hand expecting payment.
Oh yeah, Thomas will go through the pouch and...
The pouch has 15 gold pieces in it.
How much was it?
3.
Okay, 3. Yeah, he'll give him 3.
Okay.
He will take them and then, immediately stuff them into a pocket inside of his vest.
And then Thomas will put back the gold pouch into his coat pocket.
Kodrog clears his throat. So, where can we deposit the unfortunate deceased?
Oh, there is no place on this hold for deceased, so you will need to take them with you. And dispose of
Thomas-
them upon your return to wherever it is you are going.
Thomas will place a hand on Kodrog and kind of nod a little bit, and he goes, "You know that opening in the cave?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that's a pretty beautiful place to bury someone. Especially if we add something else in there."
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind that, killing someone is you have the burden of responsibility to make sure that they're taken care of. So, Thomas, I feel like Thomas would totally be like that.
Yeah.
Kodrog, you might be a little more reluctant.
Yeah, it's like,
Also,
no, I think we'll take them.
The other thing is if you dig a hole and you put a body in it and then you cover it, the dirt's just going to float away. And then the body's going to float away. Because once you dig into a hole, it doesn't... Yeah.
See, the thing is, in my head, I wasn't thinking of just dig a hole, put them in it. I was thinking more actually having a burial for them, a proper one. Having something connected to the ground, obviously. Not allowed for it to float away. Probably some native flowers to actually, not to mention the stuff that they would be buried with that would honor them if that was part of the religious or burial, whatever,
Yeah.
After death they need gold across whatever type of thing. Thomas doesn't, he's not saying, just put them in a hole. No, it's, let's actually have a burial. Since the captain and Arthur both said that we don't want them on the ship, we can put them in that mine.
Yeah.
Actually, they didn't say we don't want them on the ship. Just take care of what needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, so apologies if we weren't clear. Like, if they could take them if there was an undertaker here that could perform those rites, then they would be like, okay, yeah, we'll ship them off. But if there's no undertaker to take care of those, then they will bring them back to what the fuck?
Kadaf.
Yeah, they'll bring them back to the cap and take care of them there. So.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Pretty much. So you attempted.
Yeah, and now we have to take an extra corpse to the boat because we got to take Daryl with us.
That's right.
Yay!
Yep.
Good thing things float.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, I think that this is a really good point to begin our wrap up for this this particular adventure.
Yeah.
You guys are super awesome, and you take Daryl's corpse back. It's wrapped nice, it's not, so you're not just dragging a weird body. Like the body is wrapped, and it's been respected, and so you're taking it back to the ship with the other dead. They place them down in the not in the hold. They actually have a storage area for that in particular, because it happens. There's already 2 bodies in there from the ones that were killed by the devil dogs. So, and that's the responsibility of the doctor to make sure that, no disease or anything comes out. So he takes care of those.
Or the bodies come out.
Both of those things.
Yeah.
So,
those rats still down there?
Oh, they've been taken
the rats
care of.
have been taken care of. Yes.
Was Bobo
name?
Bobo?
Yeah, Bobo Kitty Face.
Yeah.
So
see, whenever I think of Bobo, I just think of my sister's cat, and I just imagine him bigger, and I'm like, yeah, he wouldn't kill rats. He would just make friends with them.
You all make it back to the ship. Arthur presses his stopwatch
and says, "It's amazing how much time it took you to handle this."
Thomas looks at Kodrog. Well,
we found Larry hanging out in the bar, and we tried to convince him to come back.
What? I might cut your extra domestic time in half. Stuffs his coat pocket, watching his coat pocket, and begins bounding down toward Kodrog's.
So, with that,
Thomas just he closed his mouth and he was like, "Well, I was gonna say something that would get us in trouble, probably. Good job, Kodrog."
I'm assuming that we can have everybody back on the ship. How do you want to tell the captain how everything went down?
I'll do it.
Yeah. Thomas should totally handle that.
He'll knock on the captain's door politely.
You hear the young princess say, "Come in!"
And then the captain would say,
That's what I'm supposed to do. I appreciate you, princess, but this is my cabin, and I'm supposed to... Come in, please!
Yeah, Thomas, as he hears the princess, he goes, I mean, she is the princess. I should open it because she commanded me to, but this is also the captain's. He opens it, and he'll kind of close it behind him, and he'll hand over the pouch of the extra gold. And then the scroll, he'll pull it out from his belt on his waist and hand it to him. And he'll give him a dashing smile and he goes, "Taken care of."
Wonderful, thank you. And how much did our new mine cost us?
3. 3 gold. And then I warped in the payments for the deaths of the other men.
Good. So that's taken care of as well. Were we able to disembark the bodies, or are they coming home with us?
They are coming home with us.
Excellent. We'll arrange a proper burial when we return. She's and meanwhile, the princess is in the background, just kind of bouncing,
floating most likely.
Floating, yeah,
from the ceiling to the floor to the walls.
Yeah, the princess is 12. She's very close to marrying age.
Gross.
Isn't it?
Yeah, 12 is very close.
I will
to
always
age.
say that whenever you mention that.
It's fine. We have a 21st century perspective on their...
I know.
And it is a perfect age for a precocious crush. It certainly is. Especially to a dashing captain who came in and rescued her.
Even though I'm the one who sacrificed my life to actually convince them.
Be quiet, peasant. The princess is talking.
I think afterwards, Thomas will stare at him in an awkward silence for a long time, and then just go, I'm gonna go do my work. Domestic thing.
Domestics. Excellent.
Unless you wish for me to watch over the princess. It seems that he kind of looks over. She's probably bouncing on his bed and floating, and he's like, I do know that you paint in here, and I wouldn't want her to mess up any of the artwork that you do.
Right.
And business in general.
Awkward. I appreciate that, but it is my responsibility to care for the young noble, and perhaps once we return to Kadaf.
Of course.
Yes, thank you.
Ooh, more awkwardness.
Love it.
So much awkwardness. I'm awkwarded by the
It's
awkwardness.
like, when are we going home? I want to see my sister. I want to see my papa. Mama.
I want to see my father. No.
And the captain will turn around. It's like, yes, Your Highness, we will be returning back to the Isle very shortly. It will take some time to get there. And he turns back to you, and kind of you see like the, oh my god, I have to deal with a child for I don't know how long this is gonna take.
Yeah.
Perhaps another time, Thomas.
I'll hold you to that. And he'll clear his throat and he'll kind of stumble on his way out, trying to
Awkward moonwalk towards the door.
Right?
Yeah, he'll close the door behind him once he gets out, and he'll just go like he was holding his breath the entire time he was in there.
It's like, and he's good with kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So, somewhere in the bowels of the ship, the doctor shudders.
The antennas move around, and he's just like, now it's coming through the floorboards.
What the? Yeah, if
I only
imagine
sense
it,
this
like-
when I'm in the kitchen near Cookie sometimes.
Can you imagine, like, towards the end of the day or something, the doctor just like walks up to Thomas and is like, please shut up. And Thomas is like, I don't what? Like,
Stop yelling. Stop.
I need my silence. Like,
Oh gosh.
oh man.
Good stuff.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations, guys. You successfully rescued Princess Violet.
Yay!
An amazing elven relic of, you don't know how old this is, you know, a void ship that you've never seen before, you now own. Well, the princess owned, but still, you own, you found it. Congratulations. You are heading back to return the princess
Yep.
to her father.
And of
And
course,
of
you guys
course.
have gotten some stuff and some shinies from that fight.
Mm-hmm.
John, there's some really nice knives. You might be able to convince
shit.
people to pass over onto you.
I need to buy armor.
Yes.
Did you guys take any of those journals from the crypt?
Yes. Yes.
Did you
Thomas
take the
did.
chakra from the crypt?
No.
You left that behind.
I think that Thomas
think
would have
so,
had
but
enough time to.
I did. I had enough time to actually like copy it down so I can now decipher it.
John, did you try to take the crazy-looking elven weapon with you?
No.
The
It didn't look like it was like a purposeful weapon. It was like a fancy dinner plate with a hole in the middle of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you took all the knives, the swords, and the suits of mail, the jackets of mail off the guys.
Did you take any of the silk painted tapestries?
Kodrog copied it.
Yes, he did do that. As I remember, as he was copying it, Thomas is like, I don't know.
Nah.
Not sure people should know this.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that look on your face.
Yep.
John, Captain Burgess's fine chain jacket is a +1 chain jacket for the purpose for your character's attributes.
Is that what I have written here as the dwarven chain hauberk?
Yes.
Okay.
And his duck feather cloak that you got is a +1 cloak of resistance.
+1 resistance.
Yes. Did you take... You got the bodies with you, so the jewelry's still on them, which includes earrings and rings.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are supposed to be helped with the burial. You guys didn't... Did you do a detect magic back then? I don't think you did.
I
it.
did.
Yeah,
It wasn't on
he
the
did.
body.
Thomas did. Yeah.
Okay, so you would have got the ring off of one of the mercenaries there was a magical ring on one of the mercenaries that probably either wasn't mentioned or anything.
It was not.
The lead mercenary had a magical ring of protection +1.
I know that there was something magical on the cloak, I think.
Yeah.
The cloak
yeah.
These magics are weak, so they're not very strong. The ring is the strongest magical piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I think that Kodrog would let Thomas have the ring of protection.
Okay, so here's how things work out, just to let you guys know ahead of time. Those things do not belong to you, they belong to the princess. So for right now, you can kind of wander around and take access to them.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to know you have them. If people figure out that you have them and they actually were gotten during an away mission, the princess could proclaim they're hers. When you get back, you have to approach her and say, we found these things, and then she gets to decide what to do with them.
Yeah.
She could choose to keep them for herself, give them back to the crew, and then the crew decides, or she could take them, turn them to some cash value, and then give it to the crew as a benefit or a bonus of some type.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options, which we will explore on our next game session in 2 weeks' time.
And after we get off this call, well, after the show comes to end, I'll give you guys experience points.
Sweet.
So the next time we will be playing in the Shattered Isles will be in 2 weeks on January 19th, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, running till 8-ish Eastern Time. Sometimes we go over. So before we wrap everything up, why don't we tell people a little bit more about what we do? Max and I, GM for Original Box Set, which I need to pull up on the Twitch, so you guys can go over to our channel, check us out. If I can do that. This is where we needed to have, like, everything prepped. But, you know, like I don't prep things. So,
as you do.
There you go. Here it is. We like to, Kinjia, we play in a heavily modified Pathfinder rule set. So we do a whole lot of stuff. We call it Pathfinder, but honestly, it's not necessarily Pathfinder anymore.
It is. There's a lot to it that's still Pathfinder.
Yeah.
It's just some of the combat's been changed to be more realistic.
Yeah, more realistic, more efficient. And so we still stick to the roleplay. So if a mechanic doesn't work in a roleplay setting, then we get rid of it. And it works for us. So we are going to be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We are picking back up. We took December off, and so we're picking back up tomorrow with Iron Kingdoms, which I will be running. I'm very excited. We are in the midst of the Witchfire trilogy. The adventurers have gone out to find Alexia, who has stolen a magic sword and is trying to use it to, whatever necromantic sorcerer intents that this young woman has. And so they're trying to save the sword and maybe rescue Alexia in the process. So we'll find out what they're doing tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Check it out over on Original Box Set's Twitch, which is in the chat.
Yeah.
Paige, tell us what you do.
Hi, I'm Paige. I do things. I do anarchy. If you're new and you're like, why is this chick so weird? I'm normal. This is normal. If you see my anarchy, I can't speak for shit half the time. Introducing my character doesn't really work. But if you want to actually see that in action and laugh at my failures, and everyone else's failures, Monday we're doing anarchy at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a Shadowrun based game. We're using the anarchy rule set. It's emphasis on the word anarchy. Half the time we don't follow rules. We use the audience suggestions, and whenever you give us a suggestion, say, I'm like, hey, chat, I don't know if you can see my bedroom door, but what's behind this door? And the chat will say, I don't know, flying puppies, and we'll choose flying puppies. Mm-hmm. Whatever suggestion that we take, you are put into a raffle, and you have a chance of winning $15 in RPG on the RPG
Drive-through RPG.
Thank you! Drive-through RPG. I got the RPG thing right. And my lovely GM in that areas is Oz, and he also does stuff on Shadowcasters Network. Same thing with the other players, Travis and Scrim. So you can see us on Join the Anarchy, same channel, different time. But if you like seeing my face, you might like seeing paste my artwork that I do for money to live. So if you want professionally done artwork, that is like characters, because I mainly do characters, but I will try my best to do other things. If you want to see my artwork or my dumb face or you can't see my cat, my beautiful cat's faces or dog faces or my vehicle that I drive, you can follow me on Instagram. My email is there. My business email is there if you want a commission done, or you could just message me there or on Discord at the Ram Queen with 2 N's. I think that's about it. I think that's all I do.
Excellent. John?
You can find me on Original Box Set. But tomorrow at 7, I will be playing my character in Iron Kingdoms, Yashirim, who is a member of the Town Watch, who is on a secret mission to solve the riddle of the whatever's happening with the zombies and the bad things and the general
The powerful
chaos.
necromantic sorcerer teenager with super angst.
Yes,
God,
that one.
my mom's dead. I just want to raise the dead.
My mom's dead and I want her back.
I'm gonna bring my mommy back. No, don't. Yeah, and so future news. We're planning a Adventures in Middle Earth using the 5e D&D rules. So if you like Middle Earth as much as I do, or slightly less, or not at all, but you just want to see us more, stay tuned. We're not sure when the game is going to come online, but we are going to have some unscheduled discussions about the game in the future. So
Yes.
So if you go over to our Original Box Set Twitch channel and give us a follow, you will be able to find out when we go live. And we plan on doing a lot more live things this year than we have been just on Sundays. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes, a lot more live things. Going to be hanging out, more shows, maybe more shows. Should be more shows. What am I saying? It's going to be more
Yeah,
shows.
it's more shows, more fun.
More fun.
More
Lots of fun.
fun. And with that, we thank you all for joining us tonight and adventuring with us through the Shattered Isles. We will see you again in 2 weeks to find out what Kodrog and Thomas are going to be up to now that they're not rescuing a princess anymore.
Hopefully flirting with the captain some more.
Yeah.
And also, I will see you guys on Monday. I know I'll see some of you guys because you guys are regulars, but I hope the newbies of this channel will come over to Anarchy.
Yeah, and you'll see
the chaos that we do.
That's right. And you'll see me again on Tuesday because we're doing the Shadowcasters podcast round table of awesomeness. There's going to be people
that
who
awesome
make Shadowrun podcasts. People who make Shadowrun podcasts on Tuesday are all getting together, and we're going to shoot the shit and talk about all sorts of stuff that we do. And so be there. I think it starts at 9 p.m. on the Shadowcasters Network. So be there or be square. Okay. And I finally get to meet Palmer in real life. Yay! All right.
That is the goal of anyone who does Shadowrun, is to meet Palmer.
Yeah. All right, you all have a super, super great night, and we will see you in the Shattered Isles in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.